Good morning, everybody. I have a really bad pimple that I've been picking on. See how bad I am? I told y'all last week I'm pretty bad about that. Ugh, so don't stare at it. I tried to put cover up on it, but I've been picking at it. It looks worse, I think, on the screen than it does here because it looks real red. But so I'm sorry you have to look at my blemish here. Ugh. How are y'all doing? Y'all hanging in there? Today's April 21st. Today's whew, May 1 is around the corner. The sun is coming in. It looks like it's going to be beautiful. Tomorrow, we're expecting 80% weather. And then we have a string of I think it's like 6 or 7 days. It's just going to be absolutely gorgeous. Calamine? Oh, yeah. Okay. That's a good idea. I know. It's like, oh, this is a hormonal one, you know. I hate that. And I always get it on my chin like that. Oh, your mom's birthday, April 21st. Woohoo. I'm still having a little tough time waking up this morning. I need a shampoo tomorrow. Yes, Connie, it's really beautiful. Yesterday it was pretty hot. It got pretty warm out there. I had my bacon and my eggs this morning, which I usually have all the time. Every morning, a couple of fried eggs and a couple of slices of eggs. Oh, Emily's 7 years old. Oh my goodness. Aw, sweet girl. Wow, Annabelle, I know that that's been a struggle for you. So that's fabulous news. That's great. Does it look as bad right now on y'all's end as it does on mine? Because my end, it looks like I have this huge, like, open ulcer, but maybe on the screen over there, it doesn't look as bad on y'all's part. We got 54 turned on right now. I was just scrolling up to see if my daughter's on. Yep, she's on. I didn't see her name earlier, so. Okay, so we have been marching through the nails, structures of the nails, and diseases and disorders of the nails. I thought I would go through some pictures with y'all, the way I did with the skin conditions, just to kind of give you a little rundown of them, just some more reiteration. One of the things I'm going to want you to do, though, please, is get a piece of paper out, any kind of paper, so that I can help you remember these big, bold words and how to kind of break them down, and so you can do something to kind of memorize them and get them into your head. I'm just taking Lauren's sheet from yesterday. She wrote down, and I'm going to use it as my guide from what Kimberly went over with you. But before I do that, let's see what y'all remember from Alana's lesson. Alana's lesson was the structures and the parts around the nail. I want to tell you all something real quick. The eponychium, hyponychium, perionychium, and the cuticle it's like a great big collage of mess of terms because it's like, what's the difference between them? And when you Google and you go through all those terms through all the years that I've actually done this, that some of the Google review, Google answers to some of it date back as far back as 2002, 2005, 2015, 2000. And there's no real clarity on where those parts are, etc. Some textbooks right now are actually saying that the eponychium and the cuticle are the same thing. Some people are referring to that. These can be pretty difficult to understand, and I don't even have the answers for you, other than letting you know that the cuticle is going to be the part that's kind of the part that's kind of lifting and raised up from the nail plate. Okay, and that little bit of cuticle right there is what we're going to be trimming. The eponychium is actually this fold, that rounded fold right there. But I will tell you, it's very misleading. A lot of times the textbooks will say that the eponychium is the cuticle. So you can't really get too frustrated with it because I don't think there's really any really good information on what exactly is the eponychium cuticle. I mean, the perionychium. So perionychium, let me get my finger up here. Perionychium is the skin that surrounds the nail, okay? And then the hyponychium is the skin below the fingernail that hurts sometimes. It makes us kind of get a little owie, a little zing if something pokes us underneath there. And then right down here at this part right here is said to be our eponychium, this deep fold of skin, and that perionychium, that fold of skin. Well, then we have the nail folds, and then we have the nail tracks and the nail grooves. So the best thing I can tell you to do is just get it correct on your test. It's difficult, and getting it distinguished correctly in any textbook and on Google and loads of sites where you try to analyze that, there's really no good answer. And I wish that I could give you a better answer on as those terms. It's a collage of mess, in my opinion. But let's just go through these again real quick. The part of the nail that extends past the finger or the toe, the part of the nail that extends past the finger or the finger or the toe. So when your fingernail extends past this tip, oops, when it extends past the tip, that is your free edge, the edge right here that y'all like to do a lot of nail art on. Okay, so it's the free edge. So let's make sure that we get that one done. Okay, and then we have the visible area from the nail root to the end of the finger, So the visible area from the root to the finger. Okay, that is going to be called. So the difference between these two right here, one is free edge and one is nail plate. All right. So this one right here is your nail plate. It's the visible area all the way from the base of the root to the tip of the finger. That's the nail plate. So this nail plate is hardened keratin. It's hardened keratin, and it doesn't have any blood vessels or nerves or anything like that. I can tap it. I can use my nail clippers on it. That's the nail plate. The nail plate on state board is also called, I'm going to write it down. There's going to be two terms on your state board. It's very important. This is the hard outer shell, the nail plate or the nail body. Y'all have got to know that for state board. Nail plate, nail body. The plate and the body are the exact same thing, and it's just hardened keratin, such as hooves on a horse or an animal, feathers on a bird. So it's plate or body, and that's the nail plate or body. Okay. No, Jazzy. And so nail plate or nail body is just kind of a quick little review. Or sure, well, writing it down and compiling your information is good. Y'all may have had that portion done, a portion from Alana on the first day. I can't remember, so maybe it might be a good idea to do it. But so from the finger to the toe, the part from the finger to the toe is the nail plate or the body. Okay. Oh wait, past the. Oh, sorry, I'm holding up the wrong one. Visible area from the root to the finger is nail plate or nail body, and then the part of the nail that extends past the fingertip, the finger, the finger here extends past it. Keep those in check. Free edge and nail body are two different definitions when you get to those questions on your board. So tell me this one real quick. Let's review. Folds of the skin on either side of the nail groove. What are the folds of the skin? So I want you to remember one word. I'm going to circle it. This is going to be your key word to remembering this one. Folds of the skin. What are the folds? The folds of the skin, keep in mind at State Board, this is the nail walls, okay? Not the grooves. Folds equals wall, okay? So I'm going to put folds equals walls. And that's how you're going to remember this when you go to board. A fold is a wall. Okay, so don't forget that part, all right? All right. So there's just about, I think there's 12 structures of surrounding the nail, and then I'll show you all nail diseases and disorders. I'm glad y'all are enjoying this. I'm sorry, I've had allergies. My eyes are red and dry and itchy. The half moon shape at the base of the nail. Half moon shape at the base of the nail. So when light joins, there's a reflection of light that joins from the matrix up into the nail bed, and it shows that little half moon shape. What is that called? Lanula. Good job. Cuticle. Cuticle that, let's talk about this again. I just got through saying these terms for cuticle and such around the skin. It's extremely tricky. There's no good illustrations. It seems like the arrows are pointing to everything, and I'm super sorry for that, and I don't even have the best answers for you through my research over the years. A cuticle that overlaps the lanula at the base of the nail. So this cuticle that overlaps the lanula at the base of the nail, this is going to be your what? Eponychium, okay? Cuticle that overlaps at the base of the nail. And so again, if you can just sort of memorize these 3 or 4, because they are so odd, because it's just, come on, let's just call the whole thing cuticle or skin that surrounds it, folds and walls and tracks and such. So, okay, the loose skin that surrounds the nail. So we are going to nip and get rid of the loose skin that surrounds the nail. So when I explain to you this part right here is our eponychium right there, and it gets misled in the textbook for cuticle. The loose skin, that means it's dead, it's dying, and it's shedding off. It sort of sloughs off on its own, or we can help it by nipping it and trimming it. That's cuticle. So that's going to be actually on the nail plate. That's the nail plate, that hardened area from the root to the fingertip, okay? All the way to the top. That's a plate, also known as the body. And that cuticle right there that's loose on there is just the term for cuticle. And we're going to trim that cuticle. All right. Now, what generates the cells that make this, which harden as they move from the root to the nail. So what is going to generate the cells? So if you think about cells or the mother of the nail, I have so much cuticle. Oh my gosh. I want them to nip it all off. You can't even believe how much I have. Oh, so this is the matrix. Excellent. Good job, girls. Generates the cells. All right. So generates the cells. So down here, if we slam our finger in a car door or a refrigerator so badly that we damage that nail is going to grow abnormal or not be or won't get any length. and it will be permanently damaged because the matrix is the mother of the nail. Okay, so underneath, so attached to the matrix, right here, attached to the matrix, under the skin, but inside the mantle. So what is attached to the matrix, under the skin, and inside the mantle? Attached to the matrix. Just always remember, the only thing that's down there with that matrix is the root. That's it. Okay? All right. Attached to the matrix, under the skin, inside the mantle. That's our root. Now, on our fireplace, if we have this pocket and we have a truss or a piece of wood that goes in to our fireplace or brick mantle, I mean brick wall or something, we're going to have this pocket-like structure that's going to hold the root in the matrix, and that is called a mantle. So it's a pocket-like structure that's going to hold the root in the matrix. So I will give you the state board questions for this tomorrow, so you can just sort of see if you can get those correct in your ABCD choices, and see if you can sort of look at them and grab them and pick them out without having any complications. So pocket-like structure that's going to hold the root and the matrix together. So just think of it as like a pocket-like structure that on a wall that's called a mantle in your fireplace. Okay, now the nail body rests on top of this. And it does have blood vessels and nerves. The nail body and plate doesn't. It doesn't hurt us to trim it. It doesn't hurt us to clip them off or anything. So there's no blood vessels and nerves on the nail body or nail plate, meaning the same thing. But it does have, but this structure that I'm talking about right now rests and has blood, the nail body rests on top of it, and it has blood vessels and nerves. Now that is the nail bed. And it's got these little prongs that grab that nail like this and attach it to it. Now, when that gets loosened, that's called onycholosis, where it loosens from it. But the nail is actually, it's got these little horny epithelium, and it grabs that nail plate. And so this is full of blood vessels and nerves, and it grabs that nail plate. And the nail plate is also called the body. Okay? All right, and then we have tracks. These are tracks that allow the nail to move as it grows, not a nail fold, not a fold. The fold is the wall. So when you see the word tracks, I also want you to think of, because it'll be associated with it when you see the question, tracks or grooves. So the nail wall is kind of that fold that goes around it and supports the side of the finger, but the groove or the track allows that nail plate to move along as it grows. All right, skin that overlaps and surrounds the nail. Now, here we go again with this weird thing. You could think that this would be nail walls or folds, but it's not. It doesn't say anything about a fold. It says nothing about a wall or anything like that. It just says skin that overlaps, and here's your clue, surrounds the nail. So when it's going all the way around, that's our perionychium. So we have the skin at the base of the nail, right down here, that I said we're not gonna trim. That's our eponychium. Then we have the loose skin on the nail plate. That's the cuticle. Then we have the skin below the free edge that if we poke something right there, we get a little zing. That is our hyponychium. And then the perionychium is the skin that overlaps and surrounds the entire nail. Okay? All right, perfect. Okay, and then that's our last one right there. The skin under the free edge. Skin under the free edge. So right up underneath the free edge right there, hyponychium. So let's go through this again. Right here at the base, eponychium. Loose skin that we trim, cuticle. Skin that goes all the way around our nail, perionychium. Skin below the free edge, hyponychium. The folds of the skin are known as the what? The wall. And then the tracks are known as the groove. what lies below the nail plate, the bed, and then which one of those two is the plate or body or the bed? Which one has blood vessels and nerves? The bed. Okay, so that's really it. So when you think about it, let's go to, oh, then down in here we have the mother of the nail, which regenerates the cells for new nail growth. And then lodged in with the matrix is the root, and then a pocket-like feature that stores the root and the matrix and holds it together is our mantle. So hopefully you can see those questions on your board, and they will feel a little easier because they can be pretty hard. So if you see a diagram like this on your board, on your board, on your client, on your client, and you just see like a picture like this in general, would be a generalized term that you could say, gosh, I really think that before I service you today, I'm not really comfortable with taking care of and servicing you right now, or we could skip this finger or that toe nail. But I'm pretty concerned, and I don't want to diagnose you, but I think you have what would be the broad term that we would use for any types of skin disorders or diseases? What would be a broad term? And anybody get it? One broad term. We know that onyx is the technical term for the nail. Now let's go one step further. What would be one overall term that you could use in your professional terminology that would kind of get you off the hook and help tell your client without telling them exactly what they have, but that maybe they should look into it? What is one? Yay, y'all got it. Perfect. Onychosis. Excellent. Fantastic. That's what I was looking about. Yeah, Mabry, I know. It's hard, girl. Okay, so onychosis is going to be your broad term when you just see something and you have no idea, and you want to appear very professional because you don't have any idea, and you just you just want to move on. You want to tell that client, I'm really, really sorry. Okay. And even if they have fungus, we don't know that it's actually ringworm. We don't know that it's fungus. You might want to just say you have onychosis. And I really think there could be some contagion. And I don't want to work on your hands and feet. I'm so sorry. And um, I mean, I've actually had to handle that before. Okay, now let's look at our next one here. So we talked about the nail bed. Well, when you look at this one right here, this is our bruised nail. So in the nail bed, that is dry blood in the nail bed. So when the finger or toenail was injured, there is some bleeding going on in the nail bed, and it will grow off, and it will be whole and new again. Although this process of growing that off is a long, 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 long time, and not anything you can do about it. You can't even buff it off or anything. The discoloration is permanently there until it grows off. Now, what I do want you to write down, if you can, and you have a little paper, or just try really hard to memorize. I'm going to show you this one, because when you see this term, you're like, oh, how am I ever going to remember? We got to come up ways to remember it. So this is onychorexis, and this is when the nail splits down the center, and this is what it looks like, and it can be on the toenail or the fingernail. I actually have one of these on my toenail, and it's just seems to never get any better. Onychorexis. When you see that word X right there in the middle of the word, I want you to think of, or if you're writing this down, onychorexis X, just think of making that word, that letter right there, changing that letter E to the letter A, and think of an axe. Onychorexis, axe. Axe splits wood. So you can say split. You can correlate onychorexis with split or brittle nails, because an axe splits wood right down the center. If you'll look at the image and then you'll think of the word axe with it, or put it in parenthesis, that's what I did when I was in school. Onychorexis or associated with split or brittle nails from an axe splitting wood. Onychotrophia. So onychotrophia, this is our brittle nails right here. Onychotrophia. And this is the wasting away of the nails. They just, I think Kimberly had mentioned the other day that it's almost no nail plate, no nail body at all. And it's just being surrounded by no cellular regeneration of the matrix. It can be due to harsh chemicals and such. Lauren says I say and such all the time. So there I go again. Onychotrophia, tro. I want you to just think of the word, when we're decluttering our house, we're getting rid of things, getting rid of waste. We might drop off some things at Goodwill for someone else to use. We might be throwing things away, wasting away, and things that are just wasting away, cluttering our house. Onychotrophia, and just take that TRO and think of the word throw, onychotrophia or onychotrophia, throw it away, wasting away of the nail. So maybe you can make a correlation with that. I've kind of used that one my whole. If you can come up with a better analogy, then go for it. Just trying to kind of help y'all look at these words because they're so similar, they're so big, and they all sound the same with the ani. So onychotrophia, the wasting away or the throwing away of things, um, in and it just sort of the nail plate becomes very minimal. Onychotrophia. Okay, then we have bruised. Oh wait, we did that one. Now, I don't know if y'all know, but during the war, um, uh, the song "Ring Around the Rosies," ashes full of ashes. What, ring around the rosies, ashes full of posies. Okay, that song was actually from the war. The children would actually sing that song. We all fall, London Bridges. We all fall down, and um, I have remembered this onychomycosis because onychomycosis is ringworm, ring around the rosies. And I just kind of sing the song, onychomycosis, ringworm, we all fall down. So onychomycosis is ringworm. Tell me, is ringworm a um, um, vegetable or animal parasite? Now, we reviewed that early on when we started online learning through our, when we did ecology and sanitation. But it is overgrowth, kind of epidermal, dirty cells, dead cells up underneath the nail plate. It is a vegetable parasite. Please know that that word ringworm, for new people who've been joining us, ringworm is not an animal. That's not an actual worm. So ringworm is a vegetable parasite. I'm telling you, you'll see that question. So I might as well drill it into you. Onychomycosis. So onychomycosis. Yeah, Chandler, ashes, they all fall down. That was during the time when Hitler, when the kids would try to make fun and do something enjoyable during the day, but then they would see the bridges are all falling down and all the ashes and stuff. So interesting little tidbit. Anyway, onychomycosis. I don't think that these topical things that the physicians, the dermatologists, they don't really even want you to use those. And I mean, the oral medication. The topical ones might be a little bit better, but they are also there's a lot of study that people don't really know a whole lot about how bad it is for the body, for it to soak into the skin and for it to be orally administered. So even dermatologists don't like to do it. They like for you to sort of deal with and clip it away. You have to clip it down and clip it down and clip it down, but you've got to wash your hands. Extremely contagious. So vegetable parasite, ringworm of the nails. Okay. Now we do break it up on Lauren's list from Kimberly the other day, tinea manis and tinea pedis. So you need to remember that onychomycosis has another term, and that is tinea, Tinea, tinea. Okay. Now I know that there's a lot of you who get this one. And I don't really have a little trick for this one for remembering. It's just easy to remember. A hangnail is an agnail. And you can just kind of look at the acronym in there, so to speak. You could make this AG, ag, hangnail, agnail. And this looks very much like my hands during the wintertime and different times. And it gets sore. And then when we pull that dry skin, instead of getting lotion and professional manicures, we have a tendency to pull that dry skin, and then it becomes, as you can see in this picture here, real red and noticeable that it's dry. So the only thing we can do and tell our clients for hangnails and agnails is just to keep that good old lotion on there and moisturize. Oh wait, there was another one here on the back. Now this one, I'm going to write down a little tip for remembering it. I don't know how this one ever, this little trick ever, I hope it doesn't offend anybody, loosening of the nails. If you look at within the nail and within the term, it says onycholosis. Some people pronounce it onycholiasis, onycholosis. Holy sis ain't loose. Yeah, I agree, Brenna. So holy sis ain't loose, loosening of the nail. So do you see that pocket where the bed and the nail plate actually separate? So that's that horny epithelium where that little track that I talked about on the bed is not attaching itself to the nail plate very good. So it's loosened up a little bit. You got to be careful because water gets trapped up underneath there and then it becomes the tinea manus or tinea pedis, ringworm of the nails, onychomycosis. Holy sis ain't loose. So that could be one way for it to help you remember when you see these terms on board and you're like, oh. And I know that some of my students, there's rotating tests that people have at the state board. So you might get the test that's full of sanitation. You might get the test that's full of nails. You might get the test that's full of, no worries. You might get the test full of questions on chemical relaxers. But those tests can be agonizing, and we don't know which test we'll get. And if you have to take it more than one time, then let me write this one down. Then you may get a completely different test. This one's hard to read, so I'm going to write it down. Oops, I left out the Y. Okay, this next one right here is paronychium. Now, we had a client one time, you see this right here, that picture? We had a client one time, hers were that bad. She came in, got a manicure. She came every week, got a manicure from one of my nail techs. My nail tech got the metal pusher and pushed back too hard onto the nail plate, also called the body, used the metal tool and pushing back that cuticle off that nail plate too roughly. And the client actually wanted me to pay their entire doctor bill because every single one of her fingernails at the base had gotten inflamed and pussy. It does go away. It really does go away. So, but she did not like the infection. She was worried, very frightened what was going on. So don't push back too hard on those cuticles with a cotton tipped orange wood stick or with your metal pusher. So be careful. And remember, nail technicians for state board, one of the questions that you may have is that nail pushing back on, and hair people too, pushing back with a metal pusher. Do you see that degree of angle? What degree of angle is that? You need to remember that the metal pusher or the um, orange wood stick that's cotton tipped, it must be, can anybody tell me what that angle is? Between the pen and my nail plate? Perfect, Deja. So it's going to be a 45-degree angle, and you should only push toward the nail plate. And the reason why they say you can't go back and forth like so many nail technicians do, back and forth, is they're saying, state board says that scratches the nail plate. Well, it probably does, maybe not bad, I don't know. But they say push forward only with a 45-degree angle against the skin after it's been softened. So 45-degree angle is your answer. So paronychia, let's go back to that one. Paronychia. When you thought about the skin that surrounds and goes all the way around the nail, that's paronychium. This is where it gets difficult. Para. Oh. If I spell this wrong one more time, look at the difference in these two words. And I'm sorry, I keep putting the A right there. Paronychium, paronychia. Just think about that for just a second. Get it in your head. Paronychium and paronychia. So this is the paronychium is the skin that surrounds the nail. Paronychia is the skin. What does it say right here? Should say, I wanted to make sure that y'all saw it, but it's skin surrounding and inflamed. Okay. It's the skin that the inflammation that surrounds the nail. So these are very similar. So if we know that this is the skin right here around that surrounds the nail, then we know that this disease or disorder right here is paronychia, inflammation around the nail. Okay. Now, one quick thing, I have a sneaky suspicion that State Board is going to make you know the other term for it, and it's a hard one, and I really don't know how you're supposed to memorize it. Y'all need to figure something out for that, but it's also called felon. Okay. I'm sorry. It's also called felon. Paronychium, paronychia, felon, inflammation. So, toughy. Okay. What can we do? Nail technicians, what are you going to do when somebody says, oh, I've got ridges, furrows, depressions that run lengthwise or across on my nail? What can I do? Well, as a nail technician, you can get your nail buffer, your block buffer. You can get a type of file. You can file off the ridges. Or one answer at State Board might be a ridge filler. Some of you may or may not have seen in the stores and the beauty supply houses that you can oh, thank you, Grace. It is ridge fillers are nail polish. It looks like a nail polish, but it dries in those ridges. So you can use a ridge filler polish prior to your base coat, or you can buff, and that's about all we can do. So they are depressions that run lengthwise or across. Now, pterygium is such a crazy one. And the only way I remember pterygium is when I pronounce it, since I was in beauty school so many years ago, pterygium. The P is silent. So if we draw a line through the P and we put pterygium, and we pronounce it like that, pronounce it to reach. The skin is reaching out on top of the nail plate and adhering to the nail plate. And the nail plate again is called the nail body. So the skin is actually reaching out in the forward growth of the cuticle that adheres to the base of the nail. Kimberly, you would not have to know all of these. It's just being familiar, kind of like the nail techs were having to be kind of familiar with the skin diseases and disorders. Y'all do have to know the structures of the nail that surround the nail, and so do the skincare people. So this is just added knowledge for you that if you see a client that has any kind of abnormality on their hand and you are massaging their hand and giving them a hand, arm, and massage, then you don't, then you would be able to say, ooh, I don't want to massage something that has fungus or nails that could spread from your nails to someone else's nails, or if somebody were to ask you something. It's really also for your own personal well-being. And then we have Plicaturde. Plicaturde was one that you probably didn't get, but some people that you didn't go over with Kimberly. This is the curvature of the nail. So the nails actually, inside those tracks or grooves, they actually curve in. Did any of y'all have that in your family? Because it's really hereditary. A lot of it's hereditary, and it does turn into ingrown nails. There's really nothing you can do for this. It's just stuff cotton up underneath, or file it down and keep the thickness, the onycoccus, or the thickness kind of minimalized. So yes, I think it's that's a new one. Oh, real quick, I went too fast right here. We only have two more. So here's our normal nail plate. This right here, that dip in there, that's our spoon nails or that dip in there. And then Bose nails is the newest one that's come on y'all's textbooks, Bose nails. So we got that dip, that trauma that happened. And yes, once that trauma grows off, it will grow a healthy nail again, and that little line will go away. So trauma could be smashing it into the car, but it's injury, and that's called Bose lines, and that's a brand new one. And Kolonikia is the same thing as spoon nails. Okay. Ugh. Yeah. Um, Eggshell nails. This one I noticed wasn't on y'all's list. I'm going to give that one to you as well. Eggshell nails. I want you to just look at this image. This one's too hard to see. This one right here is thin white. This is where the nail kind of rounds. And all you need to remember for the eggshell nails is that they are thin, curved, white, and flexible. Thin, curved, white, and flexible. So that means they'll crack easily. So right here, that's our eggshell nails, thin, white, curved, and flexible. And they curve across around the tip of the nail. A lot of people have it too. So on our last one here, I just want you to kind of look over these. So again, just to reiterate, we have this Kolonikia, the spoon nails, pitted nails. There's lots of pits on top of it, need to be just filed and buffed. Bose nails, where you get that line across the nail plate from injury. I can't see those. Oh, clubbing nails. This is where the finger itself is really big. This is a clubbed nail. It looks more like it has onychophyma or swelling of the nails. And then this one, oh, this is back to our fungal infection right here. All right. And people can have this fungus and stuff on their hands as well. So y'all be careful with that. And then leukonychia or leukoderm. Leukonychia. We learned that leukoderma was the white spot on the skin. Leukonychia are white spots on the nail plate that will grow off, and they will eventually be gone. It's an air pocket or a separation between the nail plate and the nail body. There's just a gap of air between there. So we finished up a little bit early with this, so I think we're good. I just wanted to just sort of review those with you. You've been sent out your agenda for your self, just to kind of have your day all mapped out and planned out. So if you didn't get it, let us know. But Monica, is that fungus? Oh, the leukonychia. Oh, the fungus was this one right here, that yellowish. Now, if you can get a block buffer and you can block buff off the yellow, then that is staining or discoloration of the nail. But if you, but this would not be fungus. Those are just the white spots up under the nail plate. So I am going to sign off and allow y'all to get started on your project on the agenda. I have not checked it real quick to see if it went out. I think it did. I usually tell Katie to try to send it out by 6 or 7 at night. I think she had some cows get out last night. They had to wrangle them in and get them all put back in their land. So anyway, that was just a little review so that you could take a little bit of time there to think those through a little bit better. You'll have a quick little fun little thing with Molly. It won't be hard. And this little bit of time that you've spent, which is, gosh, we're ending the chapter. So this little time that you've spent will give you some good resource information. You're going to see your older family who can't bathe as regularly and maybe can't care for their feet. They can't reach their feet. They're going to have to call your loved one and get them into a dermatologist or a podiatrist, knowing those differences on the plantar warts and stuff and all that stuff. So good stuff. I know it's kind of gross, but we've made it through skin disorders and diseases. So now it's just going to be a little bit of review, and we'll finish it up in the morning and move on with the next thing. I hope y'all have a great day, and you'll see Molly at 12. You will not see us 2 to 4. You have a little project to work on, real easy. And then Jeremy at 5 o'clock for another quick little review, and we'll be wrapping this one up. So just a little good stuff for y'all. Y'all have a great day. Get out there and get some exercise, walk. Lauren and I have been trying to walk 3 to 4 miles a day. She did 8 miles, went late last night and got in some good exercise. Get out there and get some exercise, get that blood going, and grab some sunshine out there too. Increase your vitamin D. And y'all have a great and blessed day. Bye.